Hello, this is my Action Research Project proposal. My name is Melissa Klein. I am a Master of Education graduate student at Post University. Student motivation is a critical aspect to success in learning. When student motivation is low, the potential for learning lessens. This is especially true as it pertains to adult learners. Specifically, adult learners are more likely than younger students to be motivated in furthering their learning. Unfortunately, there is a problem in higher education programs with connecting instruction and curriculum to what motivates adult students. Without the key component of motivation, students struggle to stay stimulated and sustained towards accomplishing their educational goals. One study performed by Central Connecticut State University found that more than 95% of adult students attributed their motivation in learning to the quality of their instruction. Quality instruction embodies teaching organization and the instructor's ability to motivate students. In order for student success, higher education educators must understand the importance of incorporating motivation into their instructional practices and curriculum. The literature review is a precursor to addressing the problem in higher education programs with connecting curriculum and instructional practices to what motivates adult students. The scope of the literature being examined consists of the history of andragogy and adult learning, the factors that encourage adult student motivation, and the instructional practices and strategies that have been linked to adult student motivation. Krajink provided a most beneficial definition of andragogy when she said, "It is the art and science of helping adults learn and the study of adult education theory, process, and technology to that end." Higher education instructors should understand the process of adult education practices and specialize in the unique challenges of teaching adult students. Adults are unique students because they bring prior experiences and knowledge to the classroom, are motivated differently than children, and are typically more active in the learning process. Learning and motivation are inseparable. A student's motivation is what influences their learning. Adult students are typically motivated intrinsically, and learning is solely a reward for them. A study conducted by Songan Rao identified 8 main factors that motivate adult learners the most, and quality instruction was highlighted by 95% of the interviewees as the most motivational aspect to their higher education learning. Additionally, the literature continually supports the important role the teacher plays in a student's motivation. Mart described how teachers with a high level of passion and commitment for a topic directly contribute to a student's academic achievement. Songunru's study also defined quality curriculum as a primary motivational factor for adult students. Quality curriculum is when a course syllabus is not a finished product that does not need any modifications. Rather, instructors should infuse the learning expectations and needs of their current students into the curriculum syllabus and classroom activities. Because students are individuals who bring unique experiences, concept understandings, and backgrounds to the classroom, differentiated instruction is an essential aspect to motivating students. According to McHenry and Boyd, the development of autonomous learning principles in higher education is of prime significance in motivating adults to learn. Lastly, students within the millennial generation are entering the workforce in the highest concentration. Millennial students are technologically exceptional and are mentally and physically fused to cell phones, the internet, wireless technology, and computers. They use technology to make life meaningful and pleasurable, to engage in relationships, and to learn. In order to make connections to millennial students, educators must incorporate technology into their instructional practices. Next, we're going to discuss the details of the Action Research Project proposal. My research question is, what instructional and curriculum practices best address the lack or absence of motivational factors in higher education? The setting of the research will be conducted in a higher education classroom at the Oregon Institute of Technology. Participants will consist of third-year students in pursuit of their Bachelor of Science in Diagnostic Medical Sonography. The research class will be comprised of 25 to 30 students. Participants in the research are adult students ranging from 18 to approximately 45 years old and are both male and female students. Within the DMS program, the male to female ratio is about 1 male for every 4 females. They are selected for the DMS program based on the grades they obtained in their prerequisite classes, a formal interview, and their prior experience and knowledge of the ultrasound profession. The method to conduct the research will first involve a student and professor one-on-one interview. Before the instructor engages with students in the classroom, she will conduct individual interviews with students in order to obtain an initial state of student opinion regarding motivation as it pertains to their learning. Specific instructional practices and curriculum strategies known to create motivation in adult learners, such as differentiated instruction, self-directed learning, and technology use, will be enacted daily in the research class. Instructional practices will be well documented, and students will offer feedback at the end of the class daily, at the end of the week, and at the completion of the term. Students will offer feedback in a multitude of ways. One way will be through forced choice forums, which will include Likert type scales, student surveys, and multiple choice questions. Additionally, the researcher will use professional journals and Flipgrid for student reflection and feedback. At the commencement of the class, the researcher will again meet with students one-on-one to discuss any changes in their opinion of motivation incorporated into instructional practices and curriculum strategies. The research will be conducted within one class over the course of one term, or a 12-week time frame. The data to be collected will be feedback directly from adult students, and students will be highly involved in and aware of the research and data collection process. Students will offer feedback daily, weekly, and at the completion of the class regarding the instruction and curriculum strategies they were exposed to over the course. At the completion of this course, the feedback received in various forms will be organized, sorted, compared, and contrasted. The researcher will use a transcribing form offered by Albur to organize video and audio data from students. The transcribing form assists the researcher in organizing video and audio responses and documenting feedback in order to easily find specific responses from students. A pre and post table will be used to document any changes noted in students' opinion or feedback from the beginning to the end of the research period. And the researcher will use a theme sorting tool to describe the theme of the instruction or curriculum strategy, the specific feedback from students about the theme, and the number of commonalities presented in the feedback from students. This action research proposal will positively impact the DMS program in multiple ways. It is essential for higher education professors to discover avenues in which to connect their curriculum and instructional practices to what most motivates their students. By researching this topic, the educator will discover specific instructional practices that her students have clearly conveyed as motivating for their learning. Understanding how to connect motivation to her instructional practices and curriculum strategies will make her more effective in teaching and her students more successful and passionate about their learning. Ultimately, discovering solutions to connecting motivational factors with instruction and curriculum molds students into lifelong learners who are in turn thriving medical professionals. While pursuing my Master of Education with concentration in curriculum design and instruction, I have developed a curriculum for one of my future educational classes, Introductory Applications in Adult Sonography. This curriculum was designed using the Understanding by Design model and Universal Design for Learning applications. For my future educational context, I will use differentiated instruction practices, self-directed learning, and scaffolding in order to best connect with my adult students. Assessment strategies that will work best within my future educational context are performance-based assessments, carefully crafted multiple choice and open-ended questions, self-assessment, and peer assessment. To specifically address the Master of Education outcomes that I have met while creating this project proposal, first, I have identified problems in an educational environment and through my project proposal, crafted solutions to the problem, which are designed based on my content knowledge of the previous courses in curriculum design, assessment strategies, and differentiated instruction. Secondly, I have compared and contrasted multiple teaching and learning theories in the creation of this project, specifically in adult teaching and learning. Next, while researching my topic and in writing my literature review, I have identified and critically evaluated many educational practices and strategies. Lastly, in the process of creating this action research project proposal, I have examined and interpreted a large variety of educational data, resources, and research that has ultimately informed the result of my action research project proposal. Thank you for listening. Here are my references.